Hello friends, and welcome to another Creative Cut a Room video. This is a little bonus video this week because I was asked to do a special project for a good friend of mine, and she has a niece that's getting married, and she wanted to give her niece a special cookbook that showed pictures of her sister and her niece together, so mom and daughter together cooking, and she wanted to do this because her sister has actually passed away and is not able to attend her daughter's wedding, and this is something she'd always talked about doing for her daughter. And so my good friend wanted to be able to kind of honor her sister's wish and give her her niece this gift. And she explained to me that she wanted it to be Victorian style cookbook. That's something that her sister always loved, and it's not a style I'm very familiar with, but I did my best to try and come up with a Victorian style cookbook. So I hope you like it. She's on her way to pick it up, so I wanted to make this quick video just to share what I came up with. So just real quick on the side here, rather than the traditional scrapbooking type charms, I put a little, and I'm hoping I can get all this in video, I put a little mini wire whisk here along with a rolling pin, and I decorated up the rolling pin with some leaves and a cabochon flower, and also this to from tag so that she could fill in some information there. On the front here I have made some of these flowers. This is on a Cricut cut from Flower Shop. This is just a paper punched flower that I used glimmer spray on. And these are some I Am roses, and I also used a flower stick pin here. I created this frame with my Cricut cartridge as well as this banner, and then I have one of these little wood plastic flowers that I painted with my Copics. So it's all pretty dimensional on the cover. I did 3 and 3 rings on each side to kind of hold it all together. I'm going to kind of turn the side view. It is very chunky. She wanted 10 pages. So what I've done is I made a total of 10 sides, but not quite 10 pages, because as you can see it's very, very chunky. I do want to be able to sit up on her kitchen counter because it is a cookbook. So I came up with this clasp, and I glued the ribbon to the front cover here, and then on the back I've created a, whoops, I hope that's in here, a magnet, so that will hold shut to give her that nice sturdy base. When you open it up, and I'm hoping I can get this all in camera, I apologize for this, but okay. So this first page, and by the way, I used K & Company paper that I purchased at Michael's, and a lot of supplies I already had at home. So she wanted one side for pictures of her and for her sister and her niece together, so that would be this side. So this side she could put a picture of them, and she also wanted a spot where she could add maybe a personal note or some letters that her sister left for her daughter. So there's a spot there, and we're in places where I could, I tried to make that a private thing. So, and then on this side would be the recipe side. I tried to come up with some Victorian images from the computer. I used my Cricut fancy frames to make a lot of the frames, and I tried to keep a consistent pattern. So the top half would be a picture and the bottom half would be recipes. On each one of these pockets I'm going to put a couple of recipe cards. Now these recipe cards were, you know, white and shiny, and they had this bright red border, so I did a lot of distressing to give it that kind of vintagey look, and they would just slide out of here. Oops, that one stuck a little bit. But they could slide in and out of here. But then I also created an acetate pocket, so I don't know if you can see that, but it would slide in there, so if she's cooking she wouldn't spill anything on that. She could hide the recipe there, or she could bring it out here in front where she could easily see that. Okay, so the next page is, and I love this paper. I did a lot of fussy cutting on this one and used a charm from jewelry department at the local scrapbook store. This can be removed, but I think it might just be easier for her to stick a picture in there like this behind all of these leaves and stuff. And then on this side, I tucked in a couple of tags. I did have a stamp from Itty Bitty Stamps that was some spoons and forks, and just made her some journaling tags there. On this side, I printed a lot of these vintage ladies out on canvas rather than paper, and I wanted to give this one more of a silhouette look, so I did put some matte glossy accents, and I don't know if you can tell there, but she's a little bit dimensional with the matte glossy accents. I also did ink on the canvas to distress it and tore it a little bit. Used a pink feather here and a little pink parasol and a little vintage key here. So just added some little vintage touches, some vintage touches where I could. And again, she could slide the recipe there, or it would go behind the plastic here. And I know that plastic's hard to see, but trust me, it's there. So I'm counting that, by the way, as 1, 2, 3, 4. So I know she wanted 10, but unfortunately the chipboard that I had was super, super thick, and there was just no way I was going to fit 10 pages on this. So here's a little vintage teapot that I got off the internet, and a flower that I made with a paper bag, a spot there for a picture, and this has a couple of hidden journaling spots. She could put small pictures here, and that's the little teacup, or pictures, or she could undo this. And I just took a Maya Road envelope and I covered it with the paper from this collection, and that says sit, eat, enjoy, and there's just another little tag here, so she could do some more journaling or a couple more pictures. I'll have to put that back together later. But anyways, that would just tie shut. And on this side, and I think you can see the consistent pattern on these, what I kind of did is she could also do 2 per pocket, so that gives her 10 recipes per page as well. I love this vintage boot, and I kind of mounted that with a lot of lace and pearl bead trim, and there were flowers coming out of the top of that boot, so I took similar mulberry paper flowers from I Am Roses and filled in the boot with those. And on this side, oh, my dogs just woke up. And then on this side, this the last pages here, I left her 2 spots for pictures, 2 spots for pictures that she could slide in behind that fun vase full of flowers. So the pictures will fit in on both sides there. And I don't know if you can see it, there's a cute little bird carrying a letter in his mouth just off the top of there. So if she wanted to put a letter from her sister to her niece, she could put a letter on one side and a picture on the other side. And then on this back page, I just love this, and again, I did it on canvas, just a vintage print of a mom with her 3 kids. I added some lace from 7 Gypsies all around the edge of that, made that the pocket with a journaling tag, and she could again still do 2 recipe cards and the journaling tag. And this will sit up on the, it's hard to do it here with the video, but this will sit up on her counter, so that she could see the cooking page as she goes. The clasp, oh, there is actually 2 more pages, sorry. The clasp will reach around the back, and it will still sit up in that triangle shape. On this one, again, I left a spot there for a picture she could tuck behind, and this reminds me of Little Women. There's a bunch of little young ladies there, and I love that picture. But she could put one there, and then on this side, there's a journaling tag behind here, and actually I just used the packaging that these little flowers came on from Recollections from Michael's. I thought that fit in there so nicely, and she could still put her recipe cards behind there. So I know that's a little jumbly kind of a video, and I've been up all night working on this, so I apologize that it was just really quick, but I wanted to share it before I handed it off to her. She's actually driving out to the wedding in Wisconsin tonight. So I hope she likes it. I hope this was the idea she had. I thought it was a beautiful sentiment to honor her sister's wish and give her niece this Victorian cookbook for her wedding present. So I hope she likes it, and I hope you've enjoyed watching this video. Please be sure and stop by my website, www.creativecutterroom.com. Thanks for watching.